Hi everyone, I'm just going to carry on the story of the lion and the unicorn. The girls went off giggling, trailing Winnie after them. Lenny did not know what he was supposed to do, so he wandered off into the yard, through a big gate and into the gardens. He walked along paths with wide overgrown flower beds and peeped into a long greenhouse. He found a goldfish pond like the one in the park at home, but it was choked with weeds and the fish had gone. There was a summer house, half hidden in ivy, and beyond it, set in a high stone wall, a wooden door. It was not the door to somebody's house. Lenny knew that. It was a garden door. He remembered hearing somewhere about a secret garden that was locked up for years and years, and nobody ever went in. Cautiously, he pushed the door. It creaked open. Inside was a little garden, like a room without a roof. It had a crisscross mossy path lined with knee-high hedges and stone seats. In the center was a great rose bush with trailers which swept the ground. It was very quiet in there. Then a bird flew up with a great clatter of wings, and Lenny saw something in the far side of the garden, high up on a pedestal by the wall. At first, he thought it was something alive and watching him, but it was too still to be alive. He went over to it. It was a unicorn, carved in stone just like the one on his badge. It did not look fierce, strong, perhaps, and very beautiful, with its curved neck and long mane. Prancing now alone in the shadow of the wall, it seemed as lonely as he was. Lenny felt a huge relief to have found this place. It made him feel more like himself again. He made up his mind to come back there whenever he could. On Monday morning, the evacuees started at the village school. The children were not friendly. They looked at Lenny blankly as though he wasn't there. When the bell went for morning prayers, Lenny had to stay alone in the classroom sitting at a desk. In the playground, Joyce, Patsy and Winnie went off together. Lenny was not included in the boys' football game. He stood by the wall until it was time to go home, clutching Dad's badge in his pocket and pretending he didn't care. On Saturday night, the evacuees had a bath, and Nanny inspected their head for nits. The bath was huge and had iron feet with claws like a lion. They were only allowed 4 inches of hot water. It was rationed like almost everything else, and by the time it was Lenny's turn, it wasn't even hot anymore. Joyce was Nanny's favorite. Nanny curled her hair for her and pressed her hair ribbon for church on Sunday. Joyce put on a special cute voice when she talked to grown-ups. But when the evacuees were on their own, she was sharp-tongued and treacherous. Lenny spent a lot of time wandering alone in the garden where no one bothered him. One afternoon, when he pushed open the door of the walled garden, he found somebody else there. A young man with one leg was sitting in one of the stone benches. He was wearing an old tweed jacket with patched elbows. His empty trousers leg was pinned up and his crutches were propped neatly against the bench beside him. "Hello there," said the man. "It's all right. I do live here. I was just trying to do a bit of reading." "Are you Bill Penny's helper?" Lenny asked him. "Sort of," said the man. "I used to shoot rabbits and pigeons when they got into this vegetable garden, but I don't anymore. This is one of my favorite places." Lenny hovered by the gate, not sure what to say next. "My name's Mick," the man continued. Don't let me having one leg bother you." "How did you lose it?" Lenny wanted to know. "I left it on the beach in France," the man told him. "But I'll be getting a new one soon." "Will it be wooden?" "No, light metal, I think, with joints." There was a friendly silence. Then Lenny remembered it was not to talk to strangers. He was not sure whether, as this man lived here, he counted as a stranger or not. But he thought he had better be on the safe side. "I've got to go now," he said. Mick just waved. On wet days, Lenny sometimes followed Nellie about the house, and they chatted while she dusted and polished. In the great hall, there was a suit of armour, sword hanging on the wall, and pictures of battle scene with soldiers in red coats. There was one full-length portrait of a very grand officer in splendid uniform. "That's Lady Deva's grandfather," said Nellie. "They've got a lot of soldiers in the family. Lady Deva's husband, was killed fighting in the First World War, and her son a war hero. He's got medal and all." "My dad's in the army," Lenny told her. "I'm joining up myself soon," said Nellie. "Women's Land Army." Nellie longed for Mom to come, but she wrote to say that she would not visit until he had settled down. She was working in a fireman's canteen. She was not a good writer, and her letter was short, but she saved up her sweet ration and sent Lenny a bar of chocolate now and again. Lenny saw Mike about the place sometimes, helping Bill Penny or Lady Deva's, but he never came into the kitchen for his meal. There's something been killing rabbits in my vegetable garden," said Bill one afternoon when he was supping up his tea. "Not that I mind," he added. "I'm glad of it." "A fox?" suggested Mrs. B. "No, it's never a fox, more like a big cat. He got some pigeon too." "It'd be one of those wild cats that's living in the barn," said Mrs. B. "Very fierce they are." "Or perhaps a lion escaped from the zoo," said Joyce slyly, looking sideways at Lenny. "Lions kill people. They wait in the dark and spring out at you and tears your stomach out." That night, long after others had gone to bed to sleep, Lenny laid awake, listening to the night noises outside. Far away in the dark, he thought he heard a growling, purring sound, then the shriek of an animal in pain. He got up and peeped through the curtains. Was there something prowling about? A black shadow moving alongside the hedges. He hurried back into bed and pulled the blankets over his head. Lenny thought about Mom and Dad a lot, hoping they were safe. He longed to see them again. At school, things had got a lot worse. The boys had started to shout things at him and make fun of his name. "Lenny Levis done a wee, did you? Wets his bed, don't he?" Lenny turned hot with anger and shame. It was true about the bed. It was only some time, but he didn't think anyone at school knew about it. He guessed that Joyce must have told them. Nanny was grim-faced in the morning when she had to deal with wet sheets. But Nellie found out and came to Lenny's rescue. "You can beat this, Lenny," she told him. "Everybody does in the end." He smuggled some spare bedcloth into the attic so that Lenny could put them on before Nanny came in the morning. She whisked away a wet sheet and washed them herself, and she lent Lenny a big alarm clock. Lenny set it twice in the night, and it went off with a great clang, but the girls never woke up. The bedwetting got better, but the boys at school went on teasing. Okay, that's me. Mr. Johnson's going to finish the rest of the book. Thank you.